It's Monday, it's lunchtime, it's 12:30, and we are live and linking. And I'm just checking to see if anyone's going to come in and tell me I shouldn't be doing this. Sometimes I wonder. I've got my own show on LinkedIn. It's a podcast. I always wanted to be a radio DJ, and here I am doing it. But someone's going to come in one day and tell me I shouldn't be doing it. Is that imposter syndrome? Do you suffer with imposter syndrome? Do you suffer with it? Can you catch it? I need to get Sarah Farmer in because she knows a little bit about this. Sarah, you there? Hello.
Can you catch it? Hilarious.
Well, I don't know. And I'm doing these shows, and you sort of like think one day someone's going to come in and say, you shouldn't be doing this, Ash, you know, and but I have fun, so I don't care.
Well, there you go. So what do you think imposter syndrome is then?
Oh, we'll come to that. We need to introduce you first.
Oh, I was going straight in.
No. So Sarah Farmer, tell us who you are, what you do.
I'm Sarah Farmer. I am an executive coach and I specialise in imposter syndrome. I work with senior leaders and leadership teams, helping them develop what I describe as the lead brightly skills. So the right level of confidence, communication effectiveness, and the emotional intelligence to be able to be an inspirational leader, the sort of leader that other people want to follow and that inspires a great culture. That's my biggest drive because I have worked in cultures that broke me. So what I really love to do is help people understand how painful that can be for the receiver, but also prevent it from happening to people so they don't have to experience what I did, at least as much as I can possibly do.
Right. I wish you'd have worked in some of the places I worked in before me. Oh my goodness. Sure. So you just asked me a question. What do I think imposter syndrome is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think everyone suffers with it in some form or another. So I'm sure you're going to dispel all of that. But when I started my business 5 years ago, I didn't think I could start a business. I didn't think I could be telling people what to do on LinkedIn. I didn't think I could be doing a live show. And over time, I've built up a little bit of confidence here and a little bit of confidence there. But sometimes I sort of like go on a stage and thinking, why have they booked me? Should I really be here? Is that imposter syndrome?
Possibly. But I think the really important thing to point out is that imposter syndrome is a consistent and persistent belief that we are not good enough, that we don't belong here. And then it creates behaviors that make us shrink to fit in, so we don't do the things that we want to do. There's a massive misconception that what you're describing is imposter syndrome on its own. It's really normal to have some confidence issues, a bit of a wobble when we're about to go on stage. That's normal. It's really normal to think, should I be setting up this business? You know, they're really normal conversations we have in our own head. But when they become unhelpful, it's when they take over and they stop us from doing the things that we want to do, or they slow us down, or they make what we're doing so ineffective. That's when I'm interested and start to look at, could this be imposter syndrome? And then if it is, then we can do some really good interventions to help break people out of that pattern. Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolutely perfect sense. Absolutely perfect sense. Just going to quickly say hello to Michal. He likes to come on and listen to our shows. If you've got any questions, Michal, or anybody else listening for Sarah, please drop them in. So one other question then. Should I be charging what I'm charging? Should I be charging more? And again, I think, is that imposter syndrome? So I deliver a one-to-one experience where I help people, do amazing stuff on LinkedIn, and I spend, 5 weeks with them. I'm holding their hand. I'm giving them a hug. I'm giving them a kick up the bum if they need it. And I've been told I'm too cheap, and I'm sort of like thinking, should I put my price up? Oh, can I ask that? Is that imposter syndrome, Sarah?
Yeah, a bit. So it's again, if it was consistently bothering you, and it wasn't just that you were doing other things as well, like not being able to show up on LinkedIn, not being able to stand on stage, or doing it and absolutely hating it and vomiting afterwards, then I'd be looking at, I always say, look for a collection of clues rather than just saying one thing is imposter. That's where it's going wrong, is everyone goes, oh, that's imposter syndrome. No, that's just one thing. So when we start questioning how much we should be charging, that's a really normal thing for all business owners to do. And it takes a while for us to figure out the value that we add. And we don't know that until we've taken people through the processes that we're helping them with. And then we look at the value it adds to them, and then we work out how much we could be charging for that. But I think when it comes to sales, I've been in sales all my life as well, is we're so busy thinking about what to charge rather than what value do I add, and therefore what is a reasonable investment in this work. It's very different, very, very different. So I think it's a very normal question to ask. And if you've been told that you're too cheap, then you probably are. And then the question would be is why, and I'd be digging into what's holding you back from putting your prices up to the level. What evidence have you got to say how effective you are? And then we'd have that conversation instead.
So put it this way, I was chatting with a client. We'd come to the end of the session and I turned around to her and said, what did you think? Did you get value? Oh yeah, it was brilliant. In fact, you should probably charge more.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's great evidence, isn't it?
I think that feedback is a gift. So I find it really hard. Actually, what helped me is when I started a couple of years ago, when I started to go for some awards, and the awards team that helped me, they made me look at the value that I add, and that started to change everything. I was already charging relatively decent prices, and they haven't changed because I knew what I did could be life-changing or business-changing. But I didn't always feel that connected to that price or that investment. And it wasn't until they started to pull all the data together to see why I should win awards. I was like, oh my goodness. For example, somebody who spent £2,500 on an open access group program for imposter syndrome, within that 1 year, everything changed for them. That they took on, this is a senior leader, by the way, they took on extra capacity, which means they didn't have to hire someone, which would have cost them another £45,000. Plus, you've got all the stuff that his team are now empowered to do because he's a better leader for them. That ROI is 1,700%.
Yeah.
So you could look at that and go, why do I charge £2,500? Well, that's a good price for a group program. And I want people to be able to access it. But what you get from it is ridiculous if you do the work. So, yeah.
Yeah. So focus on the value, not what you do.
Absolutely.
And I think we all tend to sort of think, and probably Michal, who's a bookkeeper, he's probably thinking, it's taking him this many hours to do, so therefore I'll charge this amount, which is what we all do. That's how I get a figure in my head. And it's sort of like, no, it's not that. For me, Hal, it's I'm not having to worry about getting someone to do this. I'm not worrying about the tax man. That's sleepless nights gone.
Yeah,
that's worth more than all the tea in China, isn't it?
I think we massively underestimate. Generally, we unless you're really overconfident, when you massively overestimate the value that you bring. But it's amazing how people will pay over the odds for things because someone really believes in themselves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just because they really believe in themselves doesn't always mean that they've got the goods to back it up. So I think there's two things going on. One is have the right level of confidence to believe in what your value is, and then have the ability to market that in a way that attracts the right people, and then deliver the goods. And then what we look at is how many people are commenting and supporting you and writing you testimonials. That backs it all up, and what level of people are doing that. So there's generally, we're probably not charging what we could be charging if we're thinking, I'm not sure about the value that I'm adding here.
Yeah. And so that confidence or imposter syndrome?
Again, if it's affecting more than just that, if it's affecting other areas of your business or your life, it's probably showing some signs of imposter syndrome. Look, 70% of the population, I'd say more than that at the moment, imposter syndrome is rife always. 70% of the population or professionals will experience imposter syndrome at some stage in their career. And the higher up they get, the more prevalent it becomes. People think as I get more experience, then I'll be more confident. No, because the risks get higher and our brain detects the risk. So as we go up and up and up the chain, the further we have to fall, the bigger the impact we can have when we get things wrong. So imposter syndrome increases. But because of the way the world's working at the moment with, the wars and everything else that's going on, people worried about losing their jobs to AI, imposter syndrome is more rife than ever. It really is. But the thing is, whether it's rife or not, whether it affects you or not, the first thing to figure out is do I want to do something about it?
Yeah.
If you feel like something's getting in your way, whether you think it's just a bit of a blip in confidence or it's full on imposter syndrome, you can still do something about it. But what irks me, I haven't used that word for a while, irk. But
That's a great word.
Yeah, what irks me is just the misleading information that people really prevalent in the marketplace are sharing about imposter syndrome, which for people who've got it, it makes them feel even more stupid because they think they should be able to just click their fingers and become more successful because they've got imposter syndrome. And that just doesn't work. Neuroscience says that doesn't work. So, that I am irked.
Yes. No, I don't want you irked on this show.
No, I'll de-irk myself.
Mihail's saying it's very hard to state pricing and then convince the clients for the charges. So is that imposter syndrome or is that confidence?
No. That's I would say, and I really hope you don't think this is rude. I hope you think this is helpful. I would say that's a misunderstanding in how to help people buy what they need.
Yeah.
I feel with that you're trying to sell something that you want to sell them.
Rather than so this is not selling the sizzle, selling the sausage.
I'm not entirely sure, but
so what we're trying to do, I'm not selling LinkedIn services. I'm selling you looking amazing and doing amazing things on LinkedIn after working with me.
Well, actually, you're not selling that at all. What you're doing is helping people do that thing because they need it and they want it. But when you look at how to...
So you've taken the word sell straight out of there.
Oh, take it out because it's a dirty word. And unfortunately, most people don't know how to help people buy. They do not know. And I used to run a program for years for another company I used to work for. And it absolutely changed everything for people because people don't build trust. And if there's no trust, they're not going to buy. They don't discover properly what's really going on. What do you really need? Why do you want that? What difference will it make? And what's stopping you from getting it? And then they don't look at what's stopping you from getting it. They just open up their jackets and go, do you want some watches? Do you want some this? Do you want that? Anything, flog. Any price will do. And at any stage in that, it can go wrong. So if you go in with the mindset that I'm valuable, I add value, what can I help you with today? What do you need from me that I could possibly share with you? Rather than, God, I've got a sale coming. Your mindset changes completely. And I don't think many people are ever taught how to help people buy.
No, because we've all worked for a sales manager that always hit their target and expects us to do the same. And
well, I did. I always hit my target, but I was always selling, but it was a very personable sell. And it was always built on relationships, high levels of trust, and actually I'm really nosy, which is probably why I do coaching. I really want to know everything about this situation. Deep information. I want to go mining until I find the gold, because until I find the gold, I'm just going to be chucking stuff at you that it's not a benefit, it's just information. And then they're not going to buy from you then.
Yeah, no, I heard a story on a podcast the other day. This guy went in looking for a new 60-inch TV, and he'd been doing some research online like you do, and then goes in, and then the sales guy comes over. Hey, how can I help you today? And he goes, no, I'm all right. I don't need any help. I said, no, that's absolutely fine. I'm just checking, what you're doing and stuff like that. What sort of things are you into? Do you like your sports? He goes, yeah, I love my sports. So what sort of sports do you like? And he said, oh, ice hockey. He said, right. So you need to buy a TV that does this, this, and this, because the puck moves so fast. It's going to be all wobbly when you watch it on a HD TV. So you want this TV, and the Toshiba does this perfectly, or whatever the TV was. But he understood that this guy was into his ice hockey.
Yeah.
And so he's, like you say, he's doing a proper discovery.
Yeah.
And so when he then turns around and says, you want this one, he's speaking with confidence. And so obviously the guy doing the podcast says, yeah, he bought that TV.
It makes a massive difference. And I remember a similar story going in to look at a car. I wasn't going to buy anything. I just wanted to go and look at this car because I'd heard about it, and I was thinking, well, maybe for the future. And I can't remember the sales lady's name exactly, but she will stick with me in my mind forever. She She didn't sell to me at all. At all. I ended up walking out with a car. It was unbelievable. I loved her style. I loved her approach. It was nothing Carsman salesy about it at all. It was just chatting away and like, oh, isn't it lovely? And what colour do you like? She got me completely. I want that one.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah. So helping people feel the joy of what's to come.
Yes.
It's very different to trying to flog them something they may or may not need.
Yeah. And that's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference. So you've been working with people in high places that are struggling with their team because they're worried that someone's going to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, you're not the right manager for this. Where do you start with these people?
The first thing I do is obviously we have a chat to see, so I can really dig deep into what's going on and make sure I'm the right person to help them. And I always say that very clearly is let's explore. I don't know if I'm going to be the right person. If I'm not, I will signpost them to the right person that is. I think that's a really powerful, confident thing to do. Not everybody has to be my client, all right? I don't want everybody to be my client either because they're not all the right people for me. Then the next stage is I get them to do, if it's confidence, I get them to do the confidence quiz. Have I got imposter syndrome? So we can look at the data. If it's emotional intelligence, I get them to do the, how emotionally intelligent am I? So we look at some very, it's quite crude, but it's useful data. And then we need to get and talk about what it would look like if this changed, and then see if there's an appetite for it, and we go from there. But really, if we're looking at how do we take control of imposter syndrome, we can never get rid of it. How do we take control of it, harness it, manage it? Is awareness. We've got to understand that we're doing it. We have to have a really good reason to change. And there's neuroscience to back up those two parts are the most important parts to any behavior change whatsoever, because it releases chemicals into our bodies that help us fire new neurons, wire new neurons together. I'm a complete neuroscience nerd, sorry. And then
I could go off on a whole tangent about neuroscience. You carry on.
And then the third bit is about thinking about what do we want instead. So where are we now? Where do we want to be? What's the gap? And then it's about fixing that gap. How do we rewire to fix that gap? Then it's about practice on purpose, self-coaching, getting ourselves ready to go out and be without me to do it. And the final step is a really important one. It's called Connect, and it's with a K, just because you can't spell Spark. That's my program, Spark, with a C. It didn't work. But we're joining the dots between our newfound confidence and belief in our value with others. So we're helping people understand the value that we add, so we become magnets to them, or we're just drawn towards each other because people love the right level of confidence. It gives them confidence.
Yeah.
And it also gives us more control over our future success, because say you're in a meeting and you're not in there, you're not being represented, and someone says, oh, there's a promotion coming or there's redundancies coming. I want to be the person they go, well, we need to keep Sarah, because I've reminded them often enough of the value that I bring in an emotionally intelligent way without ego. They feel they can't lose me. That's a really powerful place to be.
No, this is brilliant, and it's making me think, right? Because when I did start my business, it was my wife that made me start the business. I said, I'll go and get another job. She said, you're not having another job, set up on your own. And she believed in me. So I've done that. And I think over the last 5 years, I must have done an awful lot of work on myself, because I do feel confident now. I don't feel as if I've got imposter syndrome as much. Yeah. And it's like you say, it's practice, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to practice. I mean, we talked before we came on air about going on the Jeremy Vine show. You've got 5.8 potential.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. So for those people that don't know, Jeremy Vine runs a very busy live show every weekday on Radio 2, so one of the most popular stations in the UK. And you were a guest. I nearly spat my baked beans out when I was having my lunch. Yeah, Farmer, I knew that lady. She's been on my show before.
Yeah, it's taken 6 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah,
and I still don't feel like an overnight success. But yeah, got onto the Jeremy Vine show, and actually it was going to be like a 5 or 10 minute interview, and it ended up lasting for 30 minutes. It was freaking brilliant. I loved it.
It was. He was really into you, wasn't he?
It was, yeah. Really, I mean, he was genuinely interested, and we didn't even scratch the surface, which is why I need to go back in again. But you know, when you're waiting to go on where there's a 5.8 billion viewer potential, not viewer, sorry, listener potential. My goodness, do you suddenly get the wobbles? But
did you have imposter syndrome, Sarah?
I was killing myself laughing in the lift on the way. I was with my PR lady, Amanda Fitzgerald, brilliant. If you need PR, she's great. And I'd helped her when she was on the show manage her levels of confidence. And she was like, right, remember what you said to me? And she's got videos of me dancing for her going. So getting rid of that excess energy, smiling, telling myself, I've got this. This is going to be fun. I've got this. Is going to be fun. And I flipping loved it. I did get nervous. I was a little bit shaky, but the second I sat down in that chair, I was like, right, time to shine, switch it on. And yeah, it was a dream, an absolute dream. I just want to do it again and again and again.
Fantastic. Sorry, you've had to make do with my show today.
Oh my God, no, this is just as exciting.
Yeah, I jumped around a little bit with Jeremy.
I wasn't as nervous, but it's just as exciting, I promise.
Good. That's good to hear. So you also had people phoning in and asking questions as well. So that must have been terrifying because you don't know what they're going to ask.
No, I don't mind that at all. I listen. One of the things I pride myself is I'm much better at flying by the seat of my pants than I am by preparing.
Yes.
And if someone puts me on the spot like I am now, I'm in my happy place.
Yeah.
But because I know my stuff, so I have done the preparing, but I like to do stuff like this where I'm just able to flow. And so when those questions were coming in, I was just delighted, absolutely delighted.
Yeah.
I could have been on there all day.
I think you could have been, because I can imagine all the phone lights. You know, if 70%,
it was going mental.
Yeah. So if there's 5-6 million people listening, and 70% of them are struggling with imposter syndrome, there's going to be a lot of phone lines going.
I think I might have said 5.68 billion. I probably got carried away there. It is million.
It would be. I think Jeremy Vine would be happy. But
yeah, he was. Yeah. No, the phone lines were going insane, and it could have got. That's why it went on for half an hour, and it could have gone on for an awful lot longer. But obviously, there's a time segment you have to be in. But it was an absolute joy. Probably one of the best work days of my life ever.
No, fantastic, and you deserve it as well, because you do know your stuff. And I think what happens is as a presenter or someone asking questions like myself, like Jeremy Vine, you know, we're cut from the same cloth.
Absolutely.
We're just nosy and inquisitive, so we're only going to ask you questions you're going to know the answer to. I'm not going to turn around and say who won the football last night out of Mexico and England and what was the score.
I know. 3-2 England, and I didn't even watch it.
Well, look, you've got to be under a rock not to know, haven't you? That's
I thought I was dead clever.
Yeah. So I found out the score when my wife screamed and woke me up.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
she
brilliant.
was watching it. Yeah. I'm preparing for a show today.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I want to be on my A game. So what are the misconceptions with imposter syndrome, Sarah?
The biggest ones are that it is the same as just having normal confidence wobbles. So one confidence wobble means I've got imposter syndrome. That's a misconception. You need to look for clusters of clues. You need to look for repetition. The other massive misconception is that it is good for you and it makes you more successful. If I could shout about this one every day, I would. Perhaps maybe I should. This is utter tosh. I'm not going to swear. Utter tosh. When you look at the neuroscience about when imposter syndrome thinking is at play, you cannot be more successful. You can still be successful with it, but it will slow you down and it will reduce the joy of the ride, but you can still do it. It cannot make you more successful, because whilst your brain is thinking, I can't, I'm not good enough, I'm a fraud, I shouldn't be here, it can't think the other thing instead. And the reason for that is that there's something called the cognitive state triangle, and 3 things are at play all the time with this. How we feel, how we think, and how we behave are intrinsically linked. So until the thinking changes from I shouldn't be here, or I don't belong here, to I belong, I'm valuable, the thinking and the behaviors will follow suit. So it's just from a neuroscience point of view, it's impossible to say that it makes you successful. I think the misconception is that these people have become successful and they've had lack of confidence along the way. That does not mean imposter syndrome has made them more successful.
Yeah,
but I'm very happy to have that debate with Stephen Bartlett or Mel Robbins if they'd like to.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about having imposter syndrome, and so he doesn't have imposter syndrome. He just has the odd wobble now and again.
He may well have had imposter syndrome, but it isn't what made him successful.
Right. Okay.
It isn't what helped me with my success. Well, I guess you could say it is, because it's now a topic, because I suffered with it all my life. So a topic that I use, but it didn't make me successful. Everything I did behind that has helped me have the success that I've got today. And I don't think of myself as ultimately successful. I think I've got to a good place and there's still more to do.
Awesome. You're going to have to come back another day because we've run out of time. I do have time to roast your post. Are you up for it?
Yeah, go on.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of your posts. I'm going to roast you.
Roast my post. Roast my post. Give me the comment ghost. Roast my post. Roast my post. We're gonna roast my...
There you go. So I have got a post here that we discussed before the show.
Okay.
And this is lovely to see a document post, or a carousel as some people call it.
Yeah,
and
I'd like to say I created that carousel myself. I didn't. That was my amazing marketing manager, Natasha. She's wonderful. She did it. But
yeah, you've got all these people that you use. This is brilliant. This is what makes a successful business, isn't it?
Oh, you've got
we can't
to
do it all, can we? We
Uh-uh.
cannot do it all. We
No.
cannot do it all. So you've got a document post. You've got 30 comments, 28 likes. So a lot of engagement with this post. So that's absolutely fantastic. And you're talking about most leaders don't need or want unsolicited advice. They need a pace to slow down. And we'll share the post in the show notes. But what you've also done here is you've created this PDF, and it's absolutely brilliant. Beautiful colors. It's all on brand. I can read this, and I don't know if people realize, but you can actually download that document. So if you click on here, you can just click there and you can download it. And now I've got
no idea.
You didn't know either. Look at that. It was worth having your post roasted, wasn't it?
Huh.
Okay.
How clever.
And here's the thing. I love this. It's brilliant. It's colorful. It's absolutely superb. That's why I get people to do document posts. But there's one little tip that I want to give you here, Sarah, to maybe make it better next time.
Awesome.
70% of people are looking at LinkedIn on their mobile phone. Okay, so they see this on their feed, and then on their phone, I can't demonstrate it properly here, but if I click this button, it flicks over and I can see each page. Now it's gone to the downloaded version, but just on the screen, it's not very big. Okay. And so what I would suggest you did, you've got 7 pages, maybe make it 14, but make them a lot bigger so I can then read them on my mobile phone. So that would be a suggestion there.
And my question is that I thought there was a maximum limit of pages on a carousel post that you were supposed to, be within on LinkedIn. Is that not true then?
No, not at all. Because I tried it out a few weeks ago, probably a few months ago now. A friend of mine has written a book and he wanted to give it away for free. So I uploaded it as a PDF on LinkedIn. So if you go to my LinkedIn and go and have a look and find a document post, 92 pages, Sarah. So, and you can download that book for free. It's all about LinkedIn. And so, so you can upload lots of stuff as a document post. So you can use a document post for lead magnets and all kinds of things to just demonstrate your value. So,
I love that. So at the end of these ones, then I'll say download you can download this, and I'll tell you. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Genius.
Thank you very much.
Hey, right, that's all right. I love my guests to go away with the spring in this.
I'm so happy with that. No, listen. I've got such. My mindset is teach me everything I don't know yet, and there's so much I don't know yet. About
my goodness.
And I love to learn from people that know what they're doing. So thank you.
Well, we don't know what we don't know. That's the other problem, isn't it?
I thought you were going to say we don't know what we're doing.
No, we don't. We do, because we don't have imposter syndrome.
Oh, well done. Congratulations, you're cured.
I am. Look, before we say goodbye, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Stuart Mason, who wrote a book called How to Wreck Your Business, because on the 20th anniversary of him starting his business, the bailiffs came in and closed him down. And he's now doing amazing things. And so he's going to come in and tell us how you can sell your business, but you have to start now. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him. He was on my 5th ever show, and we've now done over 350 shows. So
what was I on? Because I was on one of
you were on really early.
20s,
you were on really early. I'll find out and let you know. Sarah, you've been absolutely delightful. Thank you to everybody for their comments. Thank you, Michal, for joining us. And so we've got one more comment coming in. Brenda Meller from Detroit is in there. Good morning, Brenda. Hey. And thanks for listening. Sarah, how can we get hold of you?
On LinkedIn, so I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on there. I'm always on there. You can also find me at brightandbrilliant.com. My website's there. You can have a look. Just find me, email me. I don't mind.
You've got something coming up as well. You want to tell us about?
We've got that post you were just looking at was about the Lead Brightly community, which is for senior leaders and execs, a safe space, a sounding board, a community, which isn't like a real community, but it is. What I mean is they actually get real value. It's not just people piling in and just sitting around doing nothing. Weekly nudges from me to sort of eat the frog and move forward, and then monthly coaching sessions and lots of goodies on top of that. So that will be launching in September, and we're asking people to register their interest now so we can gauge how many people will be interested. And there'll be a maximum cohort size of 25, and I cannot wait to get that started.
Fantastic. Sounds like fun. You've been absolutely wonderful, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
See you all next week.
Take care.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to my show this week. I want to bring to you people that can help us running our business. I love having a chat. I'm very nosy, very curious, and I'd love to ask questions. So if you want to be a guest, or if you've got some ideas for guests, let me know. And if you want me to help you with your LinkedIn, get in touch, because I want to give you a voice. Now, that could just be using LinkedIn, but I do other things as well. So I can help you with a podcast, a live show, and all kinds of other amazing things. So get in touch. My name's Ashley Leeds. I'm the 15-minute guy, and you can find me on LinkedIn.